America slaps South Africa with economic sanctions. Will South Africa go down? I think this is a topic that we may need to discuss at length. One of the fine days, I think I will have to bring this issue back so we can discuss it, especially on the main platform, Chatufa TV Productions. Then we can have a talk show on this so that we can analyze the situation, because many people are really saying that South Africa could be on sanctions, but it still will not go through what Zimbabwe went through. And I think I do agree with those that are saying that. But of course, there are others who are of ZANU-PF who are now saying that South Africa will go down, South Africa will what, South Africa, you are coming to where we are because of sanctions. But that is not true. They want to just speak and frighten. South Africans should not be afraid of the economic sanctions. Yes, I'm not saying that they will not affect their day-to-day or where they were in terms of economic stability. Things will get a bit difficult. There will be more challenges than ordinarily, but still they can still work out and come up with a solution that can cushion the country even under sanctions. You see, the situation is said mostly by Zimbabwe and ZANU-PF people because they've painted a picture that the failures of Zimbabwe are because of sanctions, and yet it's not. In Zimbabwe, the problem is sanctions. It's not sanctions, it's actually corruption. Corruption is destroying Zimbabwe more than the sanctions. So anyone who talks about sanctions in Zimbabwe is not being honest, right? So we need to talk about this issue, because we give an example of Ian Smith and Rhodesia. They were under economic sanctions, but still the country was prospering. The country had the best currencies, better than even the first world countries, and yet they were under sanctions. It is because of how they administered their things. Simple. And what is most important is that there must be accountability in the government. There must be no corruption. Every money, every government coffers that come into government must be utilized and used as accordingly. You see, this issue of the kind of scavenging and the baboon party that we see in Zimbabwe, where everyone is just grabbing what they can and running away, that cannot take a country anywhere. So unfortunately, it's that Zimbabwe has been run by thieves. And as long as the government is serious in maintaining honesty and doing their thing well, playing their game well, I'm telling you, they'll be surprised that South Africa can still be under sanctions and may not be as bad in terms of their economy and the like, will not be as bad as Zimbabwe. In fact, they can maintain. They can maintain as long as they know how to live together, know not to disturb productive sectors of their economy, like agriculture and the industry, and they just keep those floating and running nicely. I'm telling you, there is nothing that would really shake them that much. So it's a lie that South Africa will collapse because of the economic sanctions, like what the AfriForum was talking about. I think because AfriForum is for whites, they are trying to frighten South Africans and say that these sanctions that are coming are going to cause South Africa to be like Zimbabwe. But I don't think so. It's not going to be like Zimbabwe. As long as they continue to do the right thing only, Zimbabwe can still rise and prosper even under those sanctions, as long as there are no corrupt politicians, thieves that are masquerading as a government, and like Emmerson Mnangagwa and his cabal. Until now, we are seeing that even those that are within ZANU-PF themselves, war veterans and other members of ZANU-PF, other factions, they have now come uprising against Emmerson Mnangagwa and the few people that are surrounding him. Well, they are seeing that these guys are all up to thievery, and there is nothing that is moving as a country, and no one is happy. Majority of Zimbabwean people are suffering. So why should we keep such kind of people that can steal, and they can come up on public and say, what will you do? You do nothing. Just imagine. And that's not normal. That's not normal. And you can't have a police that protects people who are like that, who commit crime, and they say publicly that, yes, we committed crime, so what are you going to do? And the police will keep quiet. The CID don't say anything. The CIO don't do anything. The military just watches from afar, and they just watch people doing what they want. And what can the masses do if the security forces who are supposed to protect the country are also behaving in that manner? And in fact, the problem is their bosses are also included in the corruption, so that they don't speak out, or they don't give an order for anybody to do some kind of investigation. So this is what is killing Zimbabwe. Of course, we will not forget to talk about the rule of law. South Africa is rule of law. South Africa is functional judiciary system. Courts are functional, and they are independent, and they are impartial. That is a positive when it comes to the economy, because investors also want to go in countries that they know that the law will be able to protect them. Not that when Mnangagwa wakes up on the wrong side of his bed, he may just come and say, your company is no longer your company, now it belongs to me. That's the thing that scares away investors. So as long as investors are still coming in South Africa, there's rule of law in South Africa, there's no state capture, the respect of the masses and the citizens, and accountability, and they make sure that they shut doors to corruption. I'm telling you, the sanctions will not do much. They will not do much. You will continue to see South Africa still above the water. So ZANU-PF can lie all they want and can frighten others as much as they want. But the truth, even ANC people know that it's not sanctions. They just seeing about it like political, brotherhood. But to be honest, they know that it's not really sanctions. Yes, sanctions will have played their certain part, certain role, but not the rest. In fact, three-quarters of what destroyed Zimbabwe, not even three-quarters, more than three-quarters, would say maybe 9/10 or is actually done by ZANU-PF, the politicians in Zimbabwe. Maybe 1/10 could be the sanctions. And that is what is happening. And people need to know the truth. Zimbabwean people must know the truth. South Africans must also know the truth. It's only that these leaders that we have in Africa, they want to lie. They operate on propaganda. Even when they run economies, they want to run economies on propaganda, which is not working, and it won't work. So this is how it is. This is what it is, family. We continue to just give you updates of what is happening in our nation and around our nation. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me on this show. We will continue to be praying. We will continue to believe God for a better Zimbabwe, a better Southern Africa is possible. With God, all things are possible.